Hello, welcome to my first proper YouTube video. Today we're going to be talking about everything we have gotten so far about Avengers Doomsday. So I want to start off talking about the 4 teasers we got, or as the Russo brothers announced that they are not teasers, they are clues for what's to come, essentially. So the first one we got was probably the most controversial one, the Steve Rogers, Chris Evans returning as Captain America. So this opens on, I think, him riding his motorbike up to his house. He gets out, he has his baby, and he looks at his Captain America suit. But yeah, now I'm going to talk more about this later on, but I'm not psyched about it. That's all I say on it for now. I'm going to talk about in a deep dive later on in the video. But the next one was centered around Thor, essentially him talking or praying to Odin, his father, about being able to make it out of the battle to come, so he can then see his daughter again. And obviously, if you haven't kept up with the MCU, Thor in Thor: Love and Thunder, he essentially adopted a daughter from Gore after she was resurrected, and now he looks after her. So that trailer, I think, was really good. It sees Thor back in his sort of Infinity War attire and look. I'm really excited to see Thor be Thor again, sort of how he was in Infinity War. I think that was obviously the best Thor we've got. So seeing him like that again, it's going to be so cool. The next one we got was the X-Men teaser. So it opens on Charles Xavier, the school, being sort of broken, disheveled, sort of like it's been destroyed essentially. Charles Xavier sort of wheels in, and then it's talking to Magneto. I think they're playing chess, and then it cuts, and it's James Marsden's Cyclops, like essentially in agony. He's like screaming while his optic blast is shooting out fire everywhere. And then I believe we see the legs of Sentinels in the background. Yeah, this probably was the best teaser or clue that we got. I am someone who doesn't know too much about the X-Men. I've seen all the X-Men films we've got. We've had, and I do enjoy them, most of them for the most part. From the looks of it, it looks like there was some sort of battle here, and a pretty bad one. Whether that's a battle from Doom or and like killing all the X-Men, which people are theorizing will happen, or whether it's just some unrelated battle that we're going to see. We don't see many other X-Men. We know most of like the original X-Men cast are returning for this. So whether what people are speculating, or when we see the X-Men, it will be Doom killing them all, and then this clip will be sort of the aftermath of that, like X-Men are dying and he's sort of doing that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I've also heard some speculation that maybe these clues aren't even scenes from the film. Maybe they're like additional sort of bits of story to sort of key you into what's going on straight away, like what's going on with these characters at this point we see them in Doomsday. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. The fourth and final teaser clue from this bunch was the Wakanda and Fantastic Four one. Now this one, for me personally, was probably my second to least favourite. I get onto that. It's still good. We see Shuri, who's the new Black Panther, obviously after Wakanda Forever, and M'Baku sort of walking up and meeting Ben Grimm, the Thing from Fantastic Four First Steps, because obviously we know that that Fantastic Four are gonna come into the film somehow, come into our main timeline somehow, and obviously we see it in this teaser. How that's going to happen, who knows? We're going to have to wait and see. There was obviously the Fantastic Four ship at the end post-credit scene of Thunderbolts. People are speculating that could be Doom in that ship instead. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. So that was just a quick rundown of each of the teasers that we got. Just a few little theories, thoughts on them from that. So, like I said, in talking about them, people are saying that these are just going to be additional scenes to sort of key us in to sort of where these characters are at the start of Doomsday instead of taking the time to explain all of it. People are saying these teasers will not be in the actual film. I've heard a few people say that. I don't know how to feel about that. I think that would be kind of cool because there is a lot of characters in this film. Like you've got all the original X-Men, you've got obviously the Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, returning characters like Loki, hopefully the Loki from the show Loki. Obviously, we've got Shang-Chi returning, Scott Lang, Ant-Man returning. There's so many characters returning in this that I feel like they cannot waste the time explaining every single character where they are in the film. So I think if they are doing that as sort of information to sort of tell you what's happening, I think that would be good. It would definitely keep the pace of the film going. Yeah, and it wouldn't bog it down with all this information. Some information would be good. Obviously, with like the X-Men, we need a bit of explaining there. But ultimately, we don't. I don't want too much of it because it's already a lot to pack into this film. That are worried that they might try to do too much explaining and all that, and it just will become a mess. And obviously, I said about the X-Men, how people saying, I think all the X-Men are going to die. I think it would be a bit of a letdown if that is their only screen time in the film. If it's just the opening, Doom comes, kills them all, and that's it. I think it would be quite disrespectful to all like the actors coming back. We do know there is going to be some fights like between all the characters in this film. Like Alan Cumming, I think accidentally leaked that him and Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards are gonna fight at some point. So I'm curious to see sort of what happens there. By the looks of it, the Fantastic Four at least are going to be split up. Like we've got the Thing with the Wakandans, and if that leak from Alan Cumming is true, Reed Richards and will be with the X-Men. So it'd be kind of cool to see them interact with the other characters. There's a lot going on with this film that I actually do not know what to make of of it, of what like where the story is going to be going. People are also saying that Thor's going to die because of his teaser is very emotional. It's kind of like something that would happen if a character was going to die. They talk about this going back to see their family, and they don't. But I don't think they'll do that. I think if they're going to kill Thor off, I think they'd probably wait until um, Secret Wars to do that. Now let's get into probably some of the most controversial things about Doomsday. The first thing I want to talk about is obviously something I've briefly mentioned: Chris Evans returning as Steve Rogers. I have to start off by saying I'm not a fan of this. I think it would be cool to see him back, but in terms of the MCU and where it is, I think it's very out of place. I feel like obviously he ended his storyline with the old man Cap, him going back, returning the stones, and living a life with Peggy at the end of Endgame. It just feels kind of cheap to me to then, not to say retcon that, but to sort of, in a way, sort of ruin that, bringing him back um, to play Captain America again. Because it seems like they're going to be taking Captain America from when he's with Peggy, because obviously his kid, you see him in the same places where Endgame ended. It just feels like such a cash grab to sort of bring him back. Same with some of the characters we'll get onto. I just don't see why they need to bring him back. If it's relevant to the story, I understand, but I just don't get why you'd ruin what you did in Endgame to bring back Steve Rogers. Like you ended his storyline well. It was perfect. It was nicely wrapped up. Just should have left it alone. I don't get why they need to bring him back. Obviously, you've got Sam Wilson, who the new Captain America, also. So now there's going to be two Captain Americas. Hopefully, that has like some relevance in the film, and they're not just going to be like, "Oh, Steve, you're back," and that's it. Hopefully, there actually is a bit of like, "Okay, what's Sam Wilson's role here? What am I doing?" Or and there's like some storyline, some conflict there. That would be kind of good. I don't see the need for it. If it, like I said, if it's relevant to the story, if it makes such a big impact to the story, cool. But if it's just there for the audience reaction and it doesn't add anything to the story other than, oh my god, it's Chris Evans as Captain America again, should have left it alone. Could have, and it just annoys me. But I might bite my own tongue, eat my words, whatever the saying is, when we see the film. But we will have to wait. Similarly, on that point, the biggest controversy that's been known for years now, Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom. Oh boy, I don't know how to feel about this. Everyone has been the internet's split about it. Some are so excited, some are concerned. I am part of the side that is concerned. I personally think, similar to Steve Rogers, it is kind of disrespectful to Iron Man's character at the end of Endgame. He sacrifices himself, he dies. But oh, look, he's back. I know it's not the same character, it's not Iron Man, potentially. It's not that Iron Man, it is Victor Von Doom, but it's Robert Downey Jr. I just don't see the relevance of bringing him back. I can understand that the Russo brothers, they must have a plan, and I hope they do, but it needs to be a good reason to bring him back. Otherwise, it's going to feel very cheap, and fans, myself included, are going to feel very strongly about it and not in a good way. I have to mention the fact that it is Tony Stark, it's Rob Downey Jr., it's Iron Man in some way. Otherwise, what's the point? If they go the whole film and it's just not mentioned that it is Tony Stark's face on Victor Von Doom, then you could have quite easily not not had him play Doom. The fact that it is Robert Downey Jr. leads me to believe that they will mention it and it will be a big part of the story. But then again, I don't see that being that interesting. Not interesting, but it worries me because I don't know if there is a storyline that can get me excited enough to see Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom as a different character. People are saying that could be like an Iron Man variant that went down the wrong path and turned into Doom, but apparently the Russo brothers also said that it will not be that, it will be a Victor Von Doom. I've also heard people say that it could be like the Fantastic Four that we see in First Steps, their Doctor Doom, that it just happens to look like Iron Man from of the 616 universe. But I don't know. Both of these don't excite me. I hear that and I'm like, yeah, I guess. And there's other possibilities of what it could be. And I trust the Russo brothers. They've got obviously a great track record of films. Obviously, Infinity War, Endgame, Winter Soldier, all of these great MCU, some of like the best MCU films that we've gotten are done by the Russo brothers. So I do have faith that they will pull it off, but I am also incredibly worried. And similar to the Captain America thing, it goes against what you did in Endgame. Like you again wrapped up Tony Stark's story and sort of said you goodbye. That was the big emotional thing of Endgame. Oh look, he's back. Yes, it's a different character, but it's still his face. Like the casual audiences who don't necessarily follow up on all the lore and all of that stuff, they'll be like, "What the hell? Why is Robert Downey Jr. back? Why is Tony Stark evil now?" It's like, I just don't get it. You have to have it make sense, and I'm sure they will, and it will be a big part part of the story, like I said, but I'm worried that it also won't be. It has to be because obviously, otherwise, why bring Robert Downey Jr. back? The Robert Downey Jr. thing, I've sort of come to terms with. Um, I've sort of accepted it now that it is happening, and I'm more okay with it than I was when it first got announced. I sort of first had time to digest it. I think that's the main thing getting me worried for this film. That and the amount of characters that they're introducing or bringing back into this film. Yeah, I just worry that it is going to be a massive mess and it's going to fall apart because they've tried to do too many things and it just won't work. Again, I trust the Russo brothers enough to know what they're doing, obviously, but I feel like even they have their limits. So, and obviously, this technically is like a two-part film, not really two-part, but it's Doomsday, and then we're getting Secret Wars, and obviously they're going to tie into each other. How much? Who knows? But yeah, I've also seen people speculating that the Doom we have in Doomsday, Rob Downey Jr.'s Doom, will not be the main Doom. That would be sort of the Doom of Doomsday, and then Secret Wars would be the actual Victor Von Doom, which I don't see them doing at all. Especially with how much Robert Downey Jr. is getting paid to come back. There's no chance they're just going to have him in one film, or have him be the Mandarin of Iron Man 3, the sort of front runner Doom. If he's coming back, he's the Doom. He is the big bad Doom of both of the films. I just don't see them only using him for either part of Doomsday or the whole of Doomsday, and then not using him in Secret Wars. I just want to talk about sort of lead up to this film, sort of what the next things to come are, and then sort of maybe some of my wants for it. Now, this film obviously comes out, I believe, the 18th of December this year, and we haven't got a trailer yet. Obviously, don't know when we're going to get a trailer, but I'm hoping from the trailer, when we do eventually get it, I'm hoping it sort of explains what the story is going to be about. Not to a massive extent, but at the minute I have absolutely zero idea what this film is going to be about, other than the fact that it's got the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, all these characters, and Doom is the villain. That is sort of all I'm at. I don't know where the story's going, so I'm hoping from the trailer that it does explain that a little bit, and I sort of get like an idea of what's going on, or what's going to happen. Obviously, again, I don't want to say too much, but I just want something so I can be like, oh, that's what they're doing. Hopefully we get that. The next thing also from the trailer, I don't think I want to see Doom in the trailer. I think it'd be such a cool moment. I definitely don't want to see Robert Downey Jr.'s face as Doom. You can maybe do like a tease of Doom, like they did at the end of, or the post-credit scene of Fantastic Four, where you sort of just see his cloak and he's sort of the back of him. Something like that would be cool, or even maybe just the face. But I do not want to see Robert Downey Jr. as Doom until I see that film in theaters. Why? I just think it'd be way more impactful that way. The audience reaction will be even more crazy than I think it will be regardless. Not that it's like a massive thing, but I just think that would be something cool. I also just want some sort of mystery to the film. Not mystery, but like some things left until the actual film. I don't want to see everything from the trailer. And I know we wouldn't anyway. I know they've probably got a lot of stuff planned for it. But I want some stuff left for the trailer and for the actual film. I think the trailer, for me personally, I just want, like I said, I just want an idea of where the story is going to be heading, and then leave it at that. Have a few characters maybe revealed in it, not revealed, but like shown in it, but nothing too crazy. And that is all I want. Okay, so I feel like I've been talking a lot about the negatives for this film, so let's talk about some of the positives. Obviously, it's an Avengers film. It's going to be a spectacle. I did a TikTok saying it's more than likely going to be one of the highest grossing films of the year. In fact, no, I think it's going to be the highest grossing film of the year because it's an Avengers film. It's the first Avengers film we've got in 7 years. Obviously, Endgame came out in 2019, so the want for it is there. Obviously, the casual Marvel viewers who don't keep up with everything, they're gonna watch an Avengers film. So the audience, it's going to be there. The hype is already there, but it's going to be even more by the time the film comes out. And I have to say, from the teasers we got, it does look very good. I have my worries, obviously, but there are some parts of it, like this. I have no doubt the action is going to be incredible. I am also very excited for this film. I know I've talked very negatively about it, but I'm still very excited for it. Again, it's one of my most anticipated films of the year. It's a bit lower than I thought it would have been, but it's still in my top 5. It's Marvel, it's Avengers, it's great. It's going to be great, hopefully. My big worry is that it's going to just be a mess. But I'm hoping if it is a mess, it's still an enjoyable mess. And I trust, again, big positive, it's the Russo brothers. Again, they've done some of the best Marvel films. So why wouldn't this one be great? Another thing, I'm very excited to see sort of like the dynamics of a lot of the characters, like the Wakandans with the Fantastic Four, like the sort of groups that we wouldn't necessarily think would team up. I'm excited to see them team up. But that's probably what I'm most excited for. Not what most excited, but one of the things I'm most excited for is to sort of see the dynamics with these characters and sort of see how they work together. Like in Infinity War, when we had Thor team up with Rocket and Groot, no one would have thought that would be a trio, but it ends up being one of the best films of Infinity War. So I'm hoping we get a pairing or like a group of heroes like that in Doomsday. And if we do, I'll be more than happy. Yeah, that's sort of where my thoughts and feelings are with Doomsday at the minute. I know this video was a lot more negative than positive, but I just wanted to sort of say where I'm at. My opinions could and most likely will change closer to the time we get. I'm hoping they do, and I'm hoping it becomes more positive and not more negative. I believe it will become more positive, especially after we get that trailer, as long as it gives me some idea of where we're heading. For now, that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.